All right, so here we go. We just got a brand new Starfield video straight from Bethesda showcasing all new official concept art, which reveals some really cool shots of the worlds we will be exploring. And there's some hidden secrets within these concept arts that we absolutely have to get into. So we'll be talking about that as well. But also they sat down with the sound team and composer of Starfield who revealed some really cool stuff going on with the actual sound design and how gameplay is going to be influencing the sounds you're going to be hearing and the music you're going to be experiencing. There's some awesome stuff happening there because I feel like half the experience with Bethesda games is the music. So I'm really excited for that as well. But we're also going to be getting into the reaction from the community to these concept arts. But first, let's dive into them in detail. This shot here is one of my favorites. As you can see, it appears the sun is setting on what appears to be an unexplored world we've just settled in. From what I am seeing, this looks like some sort of base that could possibly be built. We've seen some leaks and teases that is going to be a gameplay feature, and I think that is going to be a gameplay feature considering Fallout 76 and all that had base building. But if we zoom in here, we see our player character, and next to him is, what is that? It appears to be some sort of robotic drone buddy that will go with you on your adventures, perhaps as an ability, or perhaps this drone is part of the actual base and he roams around the base, checks things. Perhaps it's like security or something like that, a scout. We'll have to wait. Now, we do know that companions are going to be a very important part of your experience based on Vasco. This has been showcased before with in-game assets. This is like one of the few in-game assets we've actually been able to see. But yeah, Vasco is going to be a really important part, and I'm assuming there's going to be other companions that you can meet along your journey. Now, solo trips seem to be a thing as well. As we could see from this concept art here, this player is very much alone in the world. So if you don't want a noisy companion or anyone in your ear, it seems like that's going to be an option for you as well. But this is really cool. It looks like an underground waterfall right here. And yeah, underground exploration seems like it's going to be a crucial part of your exploration and journey in Starfield. Perhaps there's some really important resources that we will be discovering. But some of this concept art indicated that we will have some downtime perhaps in our spaceship or some sort of spaceport area, as you can see right here. Now I'm curious to see if there's going to be some sort of iPad that can also keep us entertained, or some sort of mobile device that we will have. But yeah, this is really cool to see. I think it's showcasing that there is going to be some downtime that you can have for sure. Now, if we keep going here, this shot is really cool because it shows how expansive and big the environments can be. This shot for me screams kind of like Blade Runner for some reason. It has that very Blade Runner look to me. So I'm excited about that. And you can see how big the ships actually are. And you get an idea of how small the people are in this environment. So you can, I'm so curious to see again how this is going to translate in gameplay. I really hope they showcase some of these bigger, breathtaking environments that they have here. Then we have this one, as you can see, a very large spaceship hugging the rings here, the shadow appearing. So it looks like you can actually venture along the rings of a planet perhaps, which would be really, really cool to see up close and personal. I'm wondering if there's going to be any turbulence with that, but probably not. But anyway, this shot is very cool because it shows some of the more organic worlds we will be exploring, some of the jungles and things like that. But also there's something curious going on here. There's some sort of floating orbs if we zoom in right here. I'm wondering what these could be. Some of these environments actually look deadly. One of the things that the team at Bethesda had mentioned beforehand, which we haven't really talked about too much, is how deadly it's going to be just exploring in Starfield. And I think that's very interesting because exploring space can be dangerous in so many different ways. There could be different diseases you could run into, but also you have to consider that your spaceship has to be really, really prepared for space exploration. It sounds like things can perhaps go wrong on your adventures for sure. Now, back to the new concept arts. Let's keep going, shall we? Now, mentioning dangerous exploration, I need to rewind that. That was a quick shot there. But this one right here told me that this perhaps is going to be a very dangerous area to explore. We have also what appears to be gases leaking from the walls, as you can see right here, which means that some of these environments I would assume would be poisonous, would not be good for humans to explore. So I think you're going to have a spacesuit or an upgrade to a spacesuit that allows you to go into some of these dangerous caves. But this is really, really cool. It shows like a hallway to an airlock, as you can see right here. We have some sort of control panel that you can perhaps access, and then of course a first aid kit there. Now I don't know if this is going to be stuff that you can actually use or if it's just going to be there for cosmetic design, but it would be cool if you had to actually get into the first aid kit because something goes wrong or something like that. So we'll have to wait and find out if that's going to be actually a tangible, usable item in this shot here. Then we have this shot. This is interesting to me. We're going to get more into spaceflight in just a moment, but it looks like the spacecraft is orbiting or going into orbit into this unexplored planet. To me, this sounds like you might have to learn perhaps about how to actually orbit a planet, how to have a proper entry. So I'm curious if that's going to be a gameplay element. Then we have this alien planet right here, very desert-like in some ways, but also extremely unfamiliar, very alien. Aliens are going to be a theme in this game and exploring the unknown. But guess what? We're not alone. We have some sort of companion with us. Again, that seems to be a theme in this game. And then we have a planet with rings, as you can see right here. But the view looks like it's going to be astonishing. Again, I want to see gameplay. I want to see how this translates. But yeah, let's get into some of the new stuff here and what was actually said by Bethesda during this brand new video. So let's take a look here. Now we have this comment here from Gotchamir. And this is a comment from the audio team. It says, "We don't have control over how the player chooses to experience the game, so our sense of scale had to be totally readjusted in making a game on a planetary surface as we've always done before, and now where you have these very vast distances against this black starry background. Oh boy, can't wait." So yeah, that's an interesting statement because a lot of people are wondering this right here. Is this basically the most confirmation of spaceflight we've had? So, you know, it sounds like we're hearing some comments, perhaps some things being said and teased about spaceflight, but I'm not going to go on record here saying that manual spaceflight is 100% confirmed because that has not been confirmed. But from these concept arts, you know, it seems like something is being teased with a lot of this stuff, especially this one right here, because it looks like the character is very much in the middle of space, as you could see. So space exploration is definitely, of course, going to be a theme here. Manual spaceflight has yet to be confirmed, of course. Check this out right here. Bethesda once sent developers to visit Lockheed Martin's flight simulator. So again, some more teases to perhaps we will actually be able to fly our spaceship right there. So perhaps we will see. Now, there's an interesting leak going on, and I don't like to discuss leaks too much, of course, so again, please take this one with a big grain of salt. But check this out. This is the headline. It says, "Leak, Starfield MMO in development," and this is according to some of the job listings at Bethesda, and specifically Bethesda Austin, who helped in the MMO space at Bethesda. So, you know, to me, it would make sense that eventually we might see a multiplayer component to Starfield, either as a standalone game or something like that, simply because that seems to be the history at Bethesda with any of their new IPs and franchises. They want to support it with some sort of multiplayer component. So I would imagine that could be happening with Starfield. When is going to be the question. I think they first and foremost want you to experience the single player open world RPG that is Starfield. And then perhaps I think they would get into an online space, an MMO. I'm not too sure, but I think there's a lot of promise there. They know that they've actually been able to have more success recently with Fallout 76 and that sort of thing. So, but for me, I'm more curious about the single player. I love single player narrative driven stories. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Starfield right now. Online would be a bonus, but I really do hope they are fixated and obsessed with the single player portion of Starfield, with, of course, expanding it in the future and updating it constantly. So that's what I'm hoping for. Now let's get into some more reactions from the community here. We have this one right here from Epsia Delaner, who says, "So far, if we take into account all the art we've seen, there seems to be much variety, probably close to 20 different looking biomes so far. Some of them can, of course, be located on the same planet, but still looking pretty good to me." Yeah, you know, the concept art has been absolutely amazing to me with the variety. I've been so impressed with what they have shown with a lot of this concept art. As you can see right here, some interiors, some of the spaceships, and the elements of just being alone in deep space, landing on unknown planets. And we've got, things that showcase, of course, cities, and then organic planets, alien life forms, teases to that sort of thing. So yeah, a lot of stuff being promised here, and it seems like this game is very, very big. In fact, this game is so big, it's taken a lot to research. Yeah, so the audio team working on the music and the sound design for this game had some very interesting things to say. They basically said that music and tone will fit your location, and there will be subtle changes depending on what is happening around you. They gave an example of seeing an amazing view, and then the music will apparently adjust to what you're experiencing in that moment to really give emotion and inspiration to what you're experiencing. Now, I would also assume that this would apply to combat and that sort of thing. So music is going to be very dynamic, and it was described as a circular journey. We'll be finding something, we will discover something, and then we will take it with us and we will go back home with it, which I found absolutely fascinating, that this could be possibly a hint and tease to the actual gameplay loop that we're going to be experiencing with Starfield, of course, going out and exploring, finding the unknown, and then taking it back home, and letting the rest of humanity experience this and understand the unknown. Now, of course, the composer has previously worked on Fallout 4, and he was saying that he's going back to that for influence with what he's doing with Starfield, and I thought he did a great job with Fallout 4, so that actually does get me really excited about what the sound team is actually doing here. So yeah, some really cool stuff going on with the sound design and music for sure. But anyway, let's get into your top comments about my most recent Starfield video, shall we? So let's do this. This was my most recent video right here. You can find it on the channel. It says, finally, it's happening. New updates, new trailer teases revealed, and new leaks. So yeah, it looks like we're potentially going to be getting a new, perhaps short film trailer that's going to be live action, because we got some teases about that. When is always the question. Again, I think summer is just going to be the time, June. Now, let's see what you guys had to say about this one. Wasteland Werewolf says this: I am excited for this game. We need more open world space games in general. I agree. I want to see Bethesda do it, and finally that is happening. Then we have Chris K, who says this: I'm looking forward to seeing the limits with this game. I really hope I can fulfill my dream of being a space gunslinger bounty hunter. I know it's a stretch, but I really hope we can have a different suits or aesthetics for our character and ships. Maybe we can have some cool base on asteroid or barren planet where we can hide or just relax on. That'd be so cool to be able to explore an actual asteroid. There has been no indication of that, but man, can you imagine the challenges of landing on an asteroid? Oh man. But anyway, yeah, I think we will be seeing different suits, of course, and aesthetics and customization. So I think that's going to be a given based on what we've seen from the concept arts. Abby Lee says, I'm super excited for this game. However, keeping my hype in check is also something I believe to be important. If this game brings a generation-changing experience like Skyrim did, then I am, of course, hyped and on board. And that's the hope from Bethesda. That's also the hope from Microsoft, and they're crossing their fingers that that's the mission they actually accomplished. AN says this: I'm looking forward to this game, but I really do want to see some gameplay now. I am dying for gameplay at this point, but again, stay tuned for that. I have you guys covered. When the gameplay reveal does happen this summer, Todd Howard has basically been on record saying that that is going to be happening again this summer, roughly around June. And we don't have an official date of the Microsoft press conference, but I think that's when it's going to be happening. So yeah, I have you guys covered on that one. So press that subscribe button if you're new, smack that like button if you enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more. And I will see you all next time. Take care.